Welcome to the podcast of Breakthrough, and we would just like to talk about this wonderful initiative that you've started 3 years ago, right? So unless you guys know in particular yung background nila, Ian Santos is a well-known sales and marketing professional sa pharmaceutical and FNCG din, di ba? I've known him sa Sanofi, sa GSK, sa Mundi Pharma. I think that's where we met. But I also heard you work for the longest time sa Colgate-Palmolive, right? So he is now known as the top sales influencer. So if you follow him on LinkedIn, how many followers does he have? So he really knows what he's talking about. Basta LinkedIn, si Ian yan. So thank you, Ian, for joining us. And I don't know if you know Anda as well. So a lot of you know her, the lovely coach who's been coaching for 15 years now. And other than being accredited, Marshall Goldsmith, someone that we both know, and Gallup Strengths, no? Yeah. But you've been doing this for 15 years. But one thing that I noted like recently, she just gave a TED Talk. So have you ever given a TED Talk? So I'm curious, how did that feel? That last year lang yun, right?
Yeah, well, I give a lot of keynote speeches and workshops, but being on TED and being on that red circle is a totally different experience because all eyes are on you and you have to share about a personal experience, personal experiences. So that was really nerve-wracking. It was different. And you have to do it in 8 to 10 minutes. So it's not that easy.
We'll take some notes of what you said that baka eventually maging TED speaker din tayo. And we could follow the example. But we're so proud of you. Ian, I just want to ask, how did you start the Top 30? What was the inspiration behind this? Paano ba nangyari to? Nagising ka na lang ba isang umaga? Start nga tayo ng campaign sa LinkedIn. Since marami rin naman akong followers. Tell us about it.
Not too far from that. No, so I don't know if how many of you know Virginia Bautista. She's the founder of the Top 100 Filipinos on LinkedIn. So back in just after the pandemic, that was around 2022, I approached her and asked her, Virginia, would you like to do something about leadership? And she said, I remember she said, oh, I know someone who wanted to do something similar. Maybe I should get the two of you together in a meeting with me. And that was Anda. Doon nagsimula yung hindi kami makakilala ni Anda noon. So anyhow, we had a very, very similar objectives and views about leadership in the Philippines. That time, I don't want to go into the details, but it was an election year. And we said, hey, maybe it's time for us to start, educating the Filipinos about what real leadership is all about. So if you notice, I'll try to remember the 5. How many of you remember the 5 leadership values? Parang class
Malasakit.
So it starts with integrity, right?
Yeah.
Integrity, right? Inspiration,
Resilience. Yeah.
Courage, and malasakit. That list came from 50. I remember we spent almost an hour cutting it down to 5 because you can list down so many characteristics of good leaders. So essentially, the objectives was really how do we now elevate what the term leadership is in the minds of the Filipinos. And through LinkedIn, through more social media, which is it's like the formal Facebook or the professional version of Facebook, how can we now build a community where people, you guys, leaders, are recognized and also build a community along the way so we can all elevate each other. So that was basically the start of it all. No?
I know. 3 years ago, I remember, it's probably one of those moments that I felt so proud. Batch 1. Proud ako sa Batch 1 nun. And I felt like I'm in good company. I love the branding. I know I mentioned that to you guys. But what were you thinking when you were selecting the leaders? Or was there any qualification and you felt we'll do this? Because it's not a popularity contest, so to speak, right? It's not like sino may pinakamaraming followers because I discovered Marielle there. So I didn't know Marielle from Adam, but I love the fact that I discovered her on Batch 1 and it highlighted her work and all that. So I'm curious, what's the criteria? How did you select? What's the qualifications?
Yeah, so we really had to look at the list of nominations. So a lot of people gave nominations for the 3 batches. It's a long process that Ian and I had to go through. In the first batch, we actually had, judges who helped us in the process. But for batches 2 and 3, it was Ian and I looking at that. But we also base it on not just the nominations, but the questions that were answered from the nomination form. So we were looking at impact, qualitative and quantitative. We wanted to see how they were leading their teams. We also wanted to see how they were using the 5 important values that we saw in every leader what every leader should have. We also wanted to see, of course, because we called it the Philippines Top 30 Leaders on LinkedIn, right? And because it is based on LinkedIn, we wanted to promote LinkedIn as an area or a platform that a lot of people can use actually to build businesses, to build relationships like this. And what we did was we also wanted to make sure that these people were active on LinkedIn. So it was also we had a minimum number of followers. We also had a minimum number of how many times were you active in a period of how many months also.
Well, congratulations. Ang galing nung ginawa ninyo. Just looking at each and everyone's profile, manghang-mangha ako, and I'm glad that you discovered each and every one of these individuals for the last 3 years.
Yeah, everyone was really handpicked, and we really had to go through that whole process to really select who would be able to represent the top 30. I just wanted to add something really interesting, no? I don't know if it's a question you're going to ask us, but why 30? Why the number 30?
Exactly. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You read my mind.
Is that the next question you're going to ask
So
me?
is that a magic number?
Yeah, it's a magic number. No, it's 30 because we didn't want it to be 100, 200, or 80, or because we wanted to be very like a small select group of people. And if you notice that one of the criteria also was for not to have the same person or the same people in the next batch. So we wanted to give opportunities to a lot of people, to a lot of other leaders to be nominated and to be part of the group. That's why it's really celebrating leadership. It's giving opportunities to so many leaders to be recognized for that. And we started really during from the pandemic where our theme was resilience. And we want to look at leaders who were able to lead with resilience and really build their teams because of that.
And I know that that batch was very inspiring because for people like me, it inspired us just to push forward. So what do we expect for 2025? I mean, I'm not closing our session yet. I'm just curious. So transformative leadership this last year. So how do you see yourself evolving? So what's going to happen in the next search or in the years to come? Ian?
Yeah, so Anda and I try to get a feel of the environment every time we run the annual awards. So, like for example, you mentioned that it's all about transforming transformative leadership this year, diba? Because because we want to make sure that the leaders that we choose are actually relevant in the specific time period that we're choosing the group, no. This year, to be honest, we haven't really decided yet anong magiging theme natin. But what we can promise and what we can see is you guys are in this, you guys are about 50, I guess, less than 50. Every year is going to grow. It's a great opportunity for you guys, not just to build your personal brands, but also to network, whether you have a business, you have a company. And by the way, we don't charge anything, unlike other awards.
That's the biggest come on. We never got charged.
So, yes, because Anda and I specifically didn't want this to be a commercial awards.
Yeah.
Right? You guys earned your green jackets fair and square. Right? So that's how we want to run it. That's why it's super important when you guys nominate for the next batch, please think about that also. How do we continue the integrity of the awards? And also, do you want them to be seated beside you next time? No? So,
Yun eh.
Right, okay.
But I think one of the biggest unique selling proposition of Top 30 as well is that you're building a community.
Yeah,
Can you elaborate further on that? What's the vision for this community? How do you see the community coming together or growing?
Yeah, so what we wanted to do was to all of you have different skills and talents and in different industries. And we've actually never got around to it in the first 2 years because we've been super busy. But the intent really is standard this year. We have plans also for you as leaders, helping other leaders as well, giving talks, sharing your knowledge. I think there's several people have approached me from the leaders who have said that we want to do something like that. So it's about sharing your knowledge because we have strength in our number and there's so much wisdom in what we have together. So it's sayang what to do with that. It's not, we don't want to just be an awarding body, but what to do to be able to help other people and build better leaders. So that's what it's all about.
I love that. Yung magtulungan tayo, bayanihan, and I've seen that. It benefited me. I met nga Marielle, I met Paco, of course. Anna, where's Lisa? Lisa, so much blessing coming from these people, just networking and coordinating with them. Another area is LinkedIn. Ian, can you tell us more about what's the promise of this platform? I mean, how is the Philippines growing in that area? Is there an opportunity for a lot of us? It becomes a channel for our business. What's some update that you may give us on why LinkedIn is the platform that we should look into?
Yeah. So if you look at, I remember I gave a talk a few months back sa internet provider organization. LinkedIn is not actually in the top 3 ng social media usage sa Philippines. Nasa top 3 is Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. So, and they're not alone, even the other ASEAN countries. But if you look at the West, specifically the US, for example, I think more than half of people on LinkedIn are doing something, whether it's a business, promoting their brand, sharing thoughts, being a thought leader. And that's where me and Anda at least see this going. Maybe it's gonna take a longer period of time, but you guys here are pioneers, diba? Less than 1% of Filipinos actually post on LinkedIn. 99% are on LinkedIn to look for a job or to post a job. So imagine the benefit of being early in the game, putting your brand out there, whatever, whether you're from marketing, sales, etc. You're already establishing it 5 to 10 years ahead of everybody. So that, I think, is a great potential that not many Filipino professionals are yet seeing.
All right, thank you for that advice. Time flies. I need to cut this already but you have provided so many thoughts and wonderful insight in the past few minutes. Last na lang, how would you like to address Batch 1, Batch 2, and Batch 3 of your top 30 leaders on LinkedIn? Who wants to go first? Anda?
Sorry, what do you mean by how do you want to dress?
I mean, any message you'd like
any
to share?
message.
Well,
Okay.
and not only to them, because if we're broadcasting this on LinkedIn, other people will be hearing it. So any message for leaders out there who's using LinkedIn?
Yeah, well, I can start. So I want to say that LinkedIn is a great platform to share your thoughts, your ideas on leadership. And it's a great community. So I actually really like it better than Facebook. Facebook's a lot of personal stuff. But in LinkedIn, I've met a lot of serious business owners. I've met people not just in the Philippines, but abroad as well. I've done projects for them. And it's like a really, it's gone from being a place where you look for jobs, right? It's a place already for community building. It's about sharing your thoughts as leaders. There's a lot of popular leaders here and abroad who are already on LinkedIn. That's why I like scrolling, because I learned so much from all of you also who continuously post, and from the other leaders who also post as well. So I just want to say congratulations again to the 3 batches. We're all very proud of you, and we really like it when you wear the jackets, because it really symbolizes the special leaders, and we really chose each and every one of you to be part of this group. So congratulations again.
Thank you. What do you call it again, Ian? Rolex Green? Is this?
Rolex Green.
That's the Rolex Green and Gold.
All right. Ian, message to the group.
So congratulations, everyone. You're here because of a special reason. You know that. We also like to thank the previous batches who joined us. I know we run some online leadership summits. Hopefully, we can run a face-to-face summit within the year, including Batch 2024. Whoever wants to volunteer, we will share more details. But we're just really happy for you guys taking the time to be with us here. I know you guys are super duper busy because I've been there before. And please spread the word. Please spread the word about what kind of leadership we should have in our society, in our families, and also self-leadership. What kind of self-leadership do we really want that can set a good example to our friends, families, and everyone we work with, whether it's in the office or in your companies or businesses. So thanks a lot for being here. Congratulations, everyone.
All right. So there you have it. Again, thank you so much, Ian Santos, Anda Del Rosario, thank you for putting up top 30 leaders on LinkedIn. We appreciate the work that you do. A round of applause to them again.
Thank
One
you,
more
thank
time.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.